All right, y'all, I am back with yet another video, and I decided that we would jump into drawing figures and really just starting off with the base of how you could practice that. And I'm basically just sharing what I learned in design school and what I have learned since then on my own. So first things first, there are a few things that you should know, and that is that even as an artist with many, many years, there is always more to learn. And the number one rule to really being able to get better is to practice. So you have to be willing to be able to put in the work to be better. But aside from that, I feel like it's something that anyone can learn and pick up. And yeah, so let's get into it. Okay. So in school, we learned that there are the 3 defining lines that make up your figure. And that is the line that defines your shoulders, your waist, and your hips. So here you can see me just breaking down the the basis. I'm really not putting any type of shape to my figure yet. I'm really just drawing just straight lines, or at least I'm trying to, because I still drew my calves into my legs, but it's just like the basic stance of a human here, just arms by the side, and just straight lines, no curves yet. All right, so I decided that I would take a marker and use it to define these lines. Y'all, I swear by these lines. I since learning it in school, it has really helped me with being able to start my base of any illustration that I'm doing when I am drawing a figure. Now, of course, after so many years, I of course don't draw them exactly, but as a beginner, you definitely have to do this. And after a while, listen, you won't even need the lines. You'll know exactly, how to draw them in without even drawing them in. You'll know how to position your body without having to draw them in, is basically what I'm saying. But the rule of the 3 lines is the shoulder line and your waistline always goes in the same direction, as you can see here, slightly. And then the very bottom line, which is your hip line, it is always going in the opposite direction. As many of you know, or if you haven't, but one of the main rules when drawing figures is that our body and the shape of our body is made up of shapes. You can break it down into shapes from the thighs, the knees, your ankles. Everything can be broken down into shapes, the whole entire body, the torso, your neck, obviously your head, everything. And that is how you should think of it when you're drawing out your figures, and in any silhouette that you're drawing as well. One thing that I have used since getting back into drawing is using Pinterest. Pinterest will be your best friend. I literally have Pinterest open while I'm sketching, definitely using references, y'all. I'm also going to show you guys a trick that we learned in school. It was an exercise that we did that helped us to be able to notice where your lines are, those defining lines are in the body, in every pose that you can do. So I'm going to show you that later in the video. But because one thing that you want to learn as well is you want to learn movement with the body. But that's basically what I'm showing you guys here. And that is how you can put movement into the body as well. And if you see those defining lines, you see those top 2 lines are in the same direction, and you can see that your hip line at the bottom is in the opposite direction. I mean, sometimes I get the hip and the waist mixed up, so y'all excuse me. Okay, that 3rd line is always your hip, and then the middle one is your waist. So I can't remember if I switched that up the last time, but if I did, y'all, this is the correction. Okay. So, and once you have perfected just getting your figure, that is when you can bring in the different sizes that you may want to do. I know me, preferably, I love to draw like really, really thick thighs when I'm not drawing in my cartoon style. I love to add thickness to the body. Some people may like to draw a very tiny frame, but it's all up to you. But perfecting where those defining lines are to be able to shape your body and learning the curve of the body is the most important thing. After you have put your shapes in where they go, where they may lie, you want to make sure that you go back in and you put in the curve of the body. The body is literally made of curves. If you look at the curves in your legs, the curves in your waist, the curve of your butt, the curve of your arms, everything is just full of curves. And so you definitely just have to learn that, I believe. But this is where I'm just showing you, because one thing you don't want you don't want a stiff figure. You don't want stiff poses because it looks unrealistic. So in my opinion, I feel as though as you're practicing on your figures, practicing on movement is just as important. Even if it may take you some time, that's okay. Just sitting, opening up your sketchbook and literally just sketching it over and over and over and over and over again. Repetition will be your best friend. It will teach you what you need to know. That is what I learned in design school. Repetition taught me everything. When it came to sewing, we sewed the same thing over and over and over, and in doing that, you learned it. So it was embedded in your head. So repetition, y'all, is everything. And practice. If you really want to be good and you really want to perfect what you're doing, you have to practice. Get pretty pencils and pretty sketchbooks, because I feel like, for me, that's motivation. Like, even if you need like cute stickers or whatever, like decorate your sketchbook, get you like some pretty mechanical pencils or colorful pencils, whatever. I'm a big person. Like, I love cute art supplies, and it can motivate you to want to draw and sketch and different things. It does for me, and so everybody's different, but it does for me. Just find some kind of motivation to really make you want to pull out that sketchbook and practice. Here is one of the poses that I feel like I use so much, especially with within my cartoon style. Definitely, I know I've used it so many times when drawing the oddlies, but it works when you're doing a semi-realistic semi-realistic figure as well. But also is showing, in my opinion, it shows so much movement, and it's a stance that we do all the time in regular life. And that is why I wanted to use it after I learned from Pinterest, y'all, how to draw this pose. And so I am fumbling over my words, y'all. Please excuse me. But just trying to make sure I'm actually explaining this well to you guys. I definitely made sure I went and just looked at a few drawing tutorials so I can make sure that I'm actually explaining to you and showing you guys, and really just being able to give good advice as well, and also sharing things that I learned personally from school. But back to this pose here. So I definitely wanted to be able to show the movement that is in this very simple pose, because you want your poses to really look realistic. You don't want stiff poses. And so one thing that I learned is just being able to perfect drawing different poses that we do in everyday life. Here I'm doing a sitting pose because I wanted to show you guys how those lines still work the same way, even in sitting, standing, crouching. They just work the same way. And here is another pose that I learned it from Pinterest. Like, I use the different illustration poses. Actually, if you type that in, they will pop up and you can see how they break down the body in shapes and everything to really help you to be able to work on drawing these different poses. Like, I cannot stress to y'all how much you need to be on Pinterest. Like, you need to get on Pinterest right now. Okay, which I'm hoping y'all have out your sketchbooks and you are sketching along with me, because I want you guys to go right now and go and get a magazine, and so that you can be on ready when we get ready to do this exercise that we'll be doing in a little bit. But go and get your sketchbooks, go and get a magazine, and I want you guys to do this exercise with me that we will be doing soon. Here, I wanted to make sure that I put in some clips of poses. These are all from Pinterest. You know, I got all of them from Pinterest. I love Pinterest when it comes to that. And I just feel like it has really helped me with learning more of the body and how you can be able to draw out these different poses using references, y'all. I decided to go in and sort of put shapes within these figures on this side where you can see the different squares, rectangles, circles, ovals. Like, I really wanted to show you guys how you can really break down the entire body with just shapes. And so I went inside because that's something else that we did in design school. With drawing the illustration, you would have to put those shapes into the body so that you could see how with just shapes you can build a body. So that was another exercise that we did as well. And it may help you and it may not, but it definitely was just another exercise that we did in school that showed us, you know, how to be able to put that curve into the body because you're going off of those shapes. Here, I was just doing a few extra illustrations on how the legs and stuff can be formed, different ways to show, I guess, a bit of movement in the legs where they're not just stiff and they're just straightforward and just, you know, robotic. You don't want robotic illustrations or, figures. Like, you just don't want that. Yes. So, and you know what? There are so many new poses that we do. Like, I call them Instagram poses, especially like Instagram baddie poses. Like, you definitely have to practice on trying to perfect those. That is something I am still to this day working on because listen, those awkward legs and feet, honey, they give me a run for my money. So it's just all practice. All right, so I hope you guys have those magazines out because we are going to start this exercise that we used to do in design school, and it was easy homework. So basically, you are going to find those defining lines that form the body and helps the body. You can see what movement basically the body is making. So here, right here on the cover, I'm going to go ahead and do hers, and you can see where her lines are, and you can see exactly, even with a dress on, where her legs are going, how they are posed without even seeing them. That is what those lines help you to be able to do. This is a really good exercise that you can use for practice, y'all. We literally had to do this and bring those magazines in to show that we did them. So unfortunately, I had to use a Better Homes magazine. I don't have magazines around my home like I used to when I was in my 20s. I used to actually collect Teen Vogue, but not so much since the kids and the husband. Okay, so this was the best that I could find. I did not find that many figures, but here, even with a male, it still works, y'all. It still works. Now, the male torso is a whole nother video. Okay, we do not have the time, but even with the few pages that I found, you can see all of those. You can see all of those lines. You can see how those poses, like, listen, you can see those lines. And listen, you can use these as practice poses to work on if you break down the body and then draw out the poses. Like, it helps, y'all. It really does. I hope that this video was helpful, y'all. I hope you guys are able to take from this video, be able to practice and just get better when it comes to your art. And I just had fun sharing this with you guys. It really took me back to design school and the different exercises. Like, it was really fun to do them again. But I love you guys. You know, I love to hear from you guys in the comments. We are so close to 800 subscribers and it is ridiculous. Your girl is just, yes. Okay. I am a little behind on my video, so I am going to release this one today and I'm hoping to release another tonight, but I hope you guys enjoy this video and I thank you guys for watching.